Hello, everybody. I'm Adam Warnock, the Dabbling Warlock, and today we are going to be doing day 11 of the Learn to Draw in 30 Days challenge. What we're going to be doing today, we're going to be drawing a sphere and making it shady. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing a sphere and then shading it as if there's a light source above it shining down like that. So let me just go ahead and undo that real quick. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm gonna yeah, let's go ahead and do that, and we're just going to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see, right there. All right. Okay, yeah, that'll do. All right, so first we're going to draw our sphere. Okay, yeah, not really happy with that. So we're just going to mess with that and move it off to the side. Oop. Actually, I'm just going to switch back to this one. Okay, all right, so let's try that again. I think made that a little too much like an egg. So let's just clean that up a little bit. All right. Okay, so we have our sphere. I'm just going to darken up this line. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to try and divide this in half this way. So we're just going to draw an ellipse like that. That, and we're going to go ahead and erase that. Now, what we want to do is we want to draw this as if the sphere is sitting on the ground right here. So we're just going to mark our center point, and then we're going to just very lightly sketch some guidelines for us. All right, and then we're going to try and match the shape we drew up here down here. So if we did it right, There we go. So we'll just clean up this line right here. And then... Alright, there we go. Okay, so now we have all the guidelines we need, so we can go ahead and erase this line right here. And this line right here. And we'll fix that little boo-boo. Okay. Alright, there we go. So our light source is coming straight down, so like that. So that means light's going to be hitting the top and the bottom is going to be in shadow. So what we can do is we can just lightly draw some lines. And go ahead and get the shading on this started. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to follow the form here. So and again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just it has to kind of suggest it. And we want to try and get darker. The more towards the bottom we get. Now, there is some more advanced lighting things, like bounce lighting, REM lighting, multiple light sources, and that kind of thing. Don't worry about that. The point of this exercise is to just get it close enough. So something like that, and we can go ahead and erase this top guideline right here. And then just lightly sketch in some more of the shadow. And this should help blend it in. And darken up some areas that need to be darkened up. Wow. Okay, that should be good enough. That should be good enough. And so then we're just going to shade this in, and because this is a flat plane, we're just gonna try and get right up to our lines. This, and we'll go ahead and make this line a little bit darker. And don't worry about hurrying. Don't worry about trying to match anyone's pace. Just take your time. Take your time and try and make it the best you can. And if you need to start over, that's okay. Alright. Alright, there we go. So, that's pretty much all there is to it. So just take your time. Don't worry about trying to go fast. And again, if it's not perfect, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because after all, you're still learning. We're still learning. So, but yeah, just take it one step at a time. And go easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much. But also try and be aware of like where you can improve for next time. So like here, one, this ellipse really is an ellipse. And I can prove that by going here. Alright, so let's see, there we go. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're going to actually, you know what? So that's about where... Okay, there we go. That's about where we had our ellipse before. And if we just move it straight down... we can see that it's not quite even. I should have filled out more of this. So, but yeah, you don't have to be perfect. It's recognizing where you can improve for next time. And that's pretty much what this is about. It's getting started on the skills that you'll need in order to know where you can improve. And really, when you get down to it, the difference between somebody who is good at drawing and somebody who is not is that ability to recognize, okay, this is where I made mistakes. What can I do to improve it next time? And as I can't remember where I heard this from, but there's something that I heard a while back that really makes a lot of sense. If you aren't looking back at your old stuff and spotting everything where, like, things you didn't see at the time, and spotting all the mistakes you made and things like that, you're not learning. It pure and simple. If you look back at something you did a month ago, a year ago, a month ago, even a week ago, and you still feel the same way about it now as you did when you finished the piece, well, Okay, if you're still not seeing the mistakes and stuff like that, like places where it's like, oh man, I can't believe I did that, um, then you're not really learning. You're not improving. You're stagnating, and I mean, you don't have to constantly be trying to improve and stuff like that. After all, this is supposed to be fun, but sometimes it does help um, to know where you're going and to have an idea of what you need to do to get there. And if you don't want to, I'm sorry, I'm trying to marshal my thoughts here. If you just want to have fun, if you just want to doodle, hey, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are going to be taking this more seriously, if you want to improve, if you want to get to the level of some of the people you see on Twitter or ArtStation or all over the internet, there are some really, really great and fantastic artists out there. Then you do need to be mindful and have this attitude of, what can I do today? What can I do better today than I did yesterday? And I'm sure, a week, 2 weeks, a month from now, I'm gonna find all sorts of stuff that I could have done to improve this. So, like I said, don't be too hard on yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. But by the same token, you also can look at it with a critical eye and see and ask yourself, okay, where did I make a mistake? What can I do to improve? And generally you can find some stuff. And this is where being a part of like an art community or something like that, like a Discord or a forum or a Twitter group or whatever, wherever you can find people who are willing to give you feedback, that's great. Because if you have other artists who are better than you looking at your stuff and saying, hey, you got a problem here and this thing's like that, hey, if they give you that kind of feedback and if they go into detail about what you need to do, what you need to look at, thank them for their time and for the knowledge that they have given you. And have thick skin, especially if you're planning on going into, especially if you want to develop to the point where you're doing this professionally, because art directors, whether you're freelance or working for a company or whatever, art directors, senior artists, they are probably not going to sugarcoat things. They are there to deliver a product. At the end of the day, they're there to deliver a product, and that's how they make their money. And if you aren't up to snuff, well, it's their job to make sure that you either get there or to find someone else who can. So when people give you feedback, when people give you critiques, when people say, hey, this looks off, or hey, that this looks bad, or hey, this doesn't look right, don't take it personally. Have thick skin about it. It's not an attack on you or your skills as an artist. It's a critique of what you have put out there. And there are ways to give critique. There are good ways, and there are certainly bad ways. And generally, the best way to give critique, and generally there's like ways you can give critique that I think it's called the sandwich method, where you mention something good about the work, you give your critique about the things that you see wrong with it, but you mention something else good. So you start off with the good and end with the good. And that's a way to get past people's defensive mechanisms whenever somebody's critiquing something, especially if it's something that they have put hours and hours and hours and hours into. So yeah, just a little bit of advice from somebody who's had to learn not to be so defensive when people critique his work, um, or get on his case about stuff. So, not so. At the end of the day, this is what we're here for. We're here to learn. We're here to improve, and we're here to have fun. And sometimes those things can be in conflict with each other. So sometimes it's okay to not worry about how good you're doing something. Sometimes it's okay to just draw something you have fun drawing, that you enjoy drawing. If drawing flowers makes you feel comfortable and happy, it's okay to do that. You don't have to constantly be pushing yourself. As a matter of fact, athletes, when they train, it's bad for them to constantly be pushing themselves. They need periods where they're resting, where their bodies are allowed to recover. Your mind's the same way. So don't be constantly pushing yourself and trying to do things that are outside of your comfort zone and things like that. Yes, do that, because that's how we learn. Making mistakes is how we learn. But you don't have to do that all the time. Sometimes you can have fun. For me, I enjoy drawing starships. I enjoy drawing mechanical things. And if I want to learn and grow, I can't just do that. I have to branch out and do other things. But that's my happy place as an artist, is drawing spaceships, is drawing science fiction things, is drawing space stations and that kind of thing. And it's okay to it's okay to just focus on that and do that, and not worry about trying to learn something new every day and improving every day. You don't have to do that. You don't have to push yourself every day. Just try. It is good to try and be better today than you were yesterday. But if you're not better today than you were yesterday, that's okay. It's not a lost day. It's just a day where things didn't go as planned. Things didn't go the way you wanted them to. Yeah, really, at the end of the day, we all have days like that. What you want to see is consistent growth over time. And that does take practice. That does take perseverance. That does take perspective and perception. Perspective as in knowing what you should be comparing yourself to. And there's a reason I've been saying, look at where you are today compared to yesterday. Look at where you are today compared to where you started. I mean, when I started doing this a week and a half ago, my line, it was not good. You can see the progress on my Twitter, and part of that is, yes, I do know how to draw. I have taken art classes, but those don't mean squat if I don't use the skills. Skills are use them or lose them. It doesn't matter if you were fluent in a language 5 or 10 years ago. If you never speak the language, you're gonna slowly over time, you're gonna lose those skills. You're gonna lose that fluency. It's the same thing with art. It's the same thing with technology. It's the same thing with a whole host of other skills. But that said, there are certain things that do apply, like observation skills. If you're constantly observing things and breaking them down into simpler shapes, then that is an art skill that you can apply, because as you're doing that, what you're doing is you're deconstructing objects, complex objects, into simpler objects that you can then draw and put on paper. And since you have been practicing that skill, suddenly drawing from things like reference becomes a lot easier. Suddenly it becomes a lot easier to draw things that you may have not have ever drawn before, because you've been practicing building up that mental library and those observation skills. Sure, your line quality may be crap because you haven't drawn in however long, but that can come back fairly quickly. That's the other thing about skills. If you've already done it once, a lot of times when you go back to pick it up, it's a lot faster to pick it back up and get back to where you were than it took you the first time to get there. And yeah, so yeah, my goal is to draw every day in November, and we're over a third of the way through, and I've managed to do that so far. But even if you don't manage to draw every day, it's okay. Anyway, enough rambling from me. Hopefully you got something out of it, and hopefully you had some fun doing some shady business. And I hope you'll join me for day 12 tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is 6 hours behind Greenwich Mean Time, I believe. So yeah, 6 in the evening, Central Time, Central US Time, Chicago Time, whatever you want to call it. And I hope to see you there. Like I said, enough rambling for me. This is the Dabbling Warlock signing off.